Does bigger actually mean better? Spiky Bits. Welcome back, hobby maniacs. I'm Rob Barrett from SpikyBits.com, and in this video I'm going to show you what I think is a pretty affordable alternative to the paint mixers out there on the market today. I've been field testing it here for about 4 or 5 months now, and so far I'm mostly impressed with it, and for the money I think you might be too. So way back in December, I picked up 2 paint mixers. This one here actually has lasted, and unfortunately this Joan Lab one here came DOA, or dead on arrival, so it didn't even work out of the box. I returned it, got a refund, and to be honest, I didn't order another one because it already had some skeptical reviews and I wasn't sure about it to begin with, but this one had potential, so that's why I ordered it in the first place. Now here's a little closer look at the one I actually ended up ordering. As you can see, it's $49.99. The one we have showed you in the past is well over $100 now. After COVID, of course, you know, everything kind of went up, but this one has kind of stayed pretty affordable since I want to say it was about this price when I picked it up way back in December. So it's got a lot of cool features, but you can see it's got the little suction cups on the bottom. I won't be able to demonstrate that for you today because I have construction paper on the studio recording surface here, unfortunately, and it gives you the measurements, you know, the power and everything. It does have a blue light on it, which you can see in this picture right here. Right here there's a little blue light. It's pretty bright, so if you do have it plugged in, it may, you know, depending on where you have it in the room, you know, even when you turn the lights off or you're not in the room, it's going to be a very bright blue light, so you might want to unplug it. I don't know how much you might use your paint mixer, but it's definitely worth mentioning that it's a pretty powerful light. So maybe just put a piece of electrical tape over it if it really annoys you that much and you have to have it plugged in. Mine's hidden underneath my desk, all my cords, so I didn't really notice it until I went to pet the cat and it was like, whoa, bam, in my face, and that was a little too much. So yeah, here's all the stats on it, and so far it I didn't check to see if it had any more ratings. It's designed for nail polish, and I wanted to say tattooing. Oh, yep, I don't think it has any ratings actually. Maybe I should rate it. Anyways, so let's take a closer look at the unit compared to the other one we've shown you here in the past, the Lab Genius one. Now here it is unboxed. You can see it looks very similar to what I just showed you over on the Amazon page right there. It gives you some instructions. It's an ink shaker, and it gives you all the specific voltages and things like that. I didn't use any of this, and to be quite honest, and it actually gives you instructions, which is nice. Compared to the Lab Genius, which you already saw in the intro image, it is a bit bigger. Now the Lab Genius one is, I'm actually straining to kind of hold it level. This is way heavier. I would say at least 5 times heavier than this particular unit right here. This one is pretty light, to be quite honest. It does have suction cups on the bottom, and these do, I won't be able to, I guess you could hear it maybe potentially over here when I put it on. If I try to reach, I'm not going to be able to reach with this, but let's see if we can get it. Yeah, there you go. So it will suction down to the table, and it stays pretty like mounted in or anything like that. It doesn't look like it's going to wiggle or anything. This one does not. It pretty much relies on the weight of the unit itself and these little 4 pieces here. Now I should have showed you, I purchased this Lab Genius in 2019, so I've had this going on 3 years now, and that of course has held up for sure. So the one big difference to this unit over the Lab Genius one, and just kind of show you, you know, how these work. So it's a paint shaker. It's very, very simple stuff here. You're gonna take a paint that, you know, maybe you let it sit for a little while and it needs a mix-in. You're just going to take this, and you can either do it 1 or 2 ways. You can put it on here with the bottom down, or you can put it on here with the oops, I guess I should aim right, with the dropper bottle and down, right? Now the main, it works well, it works super well. I've showed you in the past, but the problem here, and what a lot of people have said, is that you have to actually hold down on this, and as you can see, my fingers, my whole hand all the way down to my knuckles are vibrating. And you know, maybe in long term that could hurt your joints and your cartilage and things. I mean, sure, I still feel the reverberation in my hands right now, even not, you know, touching it. So that could be a, you know, a safety consideration, or perhaps, you know, arthritis, comfort of life, you know, thing down the road. And who wants, you know, oh, I need to mix my paint and then I got arthritis. I don't know if that's the case, but it's definitely been on my mind and something that some folks have mentioned. I probably don't paint as much as I should, so I don't know if that's a consideration for me. But if that's your main source of income, your livelihood, that could be an issue, right? So the reason I ordered this one and the other one too, but I guess we'll never know because it came DOA, is because it has a feature that allows you to just do the same thing basically. But what's nice about it is you click it on and it stays on. So all you really have to do is just kind of hold the bottle on top of it here. Now my fingers are still wobbling, right? But they're not, but I'm not like using force to kind of keep it on here. It's just kind of going. So I'm not really doing a whole lot of the work, which I kind of like. And the fact that it's one click turn on, one click turn off, and you can see the motion right there. I feel like for 50% less basically, because that one I think is $118 and this one's currently $50 on Amazon, I can make a little sacrifices for a little bit more functionality. But the question is, we want to know, will it work, right? So will it work? Well, let's find out. So here's some OG Minoth White we've repotted or decanted or whatever, and I'm just gonna click it on there and just kind of reposition and kind of hold things, and we'll see how long it takes. It looks like it's working, although some of that might be dried out by now. I think this might actually be. It looks like the binder is separate. I'm not sure about that one. Let's see if this one. That one might be a casualty, unfortunately. But I think this. Let's try it this way too. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we just got to hit it from both ends sometimes, especially on these. Now see, this is a lot easier to hold, but it's still going to reverberate through your finger if you just hold it down here. But this is definitely doing a lot of mixing action. You can see there's a little bit of dried bits right there, or at least coagulated bits that it's trying to, it looks like it has. Yeah, it's mixed them up. Cool, so that worked pretty well, I think, for the most part. Just using the bottom here. So that's really cool that you got the dual functionality. And like I said, being able to kick this on and not have to like physically push down to activate it for $50 less, I feel like is pretty good. Now, what don't I like about this? Well, I don't know if you saw in the intro, but this little rubber piece right here, it's really impossible to clean. I've tried Scotch tape and this comes off. I've tried Scotch tape. I've tried all sorts of different paper towels. I tried a sock. I actually have some socks I use for like cleaning up cat puke and things like that, and rewash them sometimes if they're not too bad. That didn't get it off there. I tried wet ones. I've tried a lot of different things to clean this. I didn't seem to have any success with it. So depending on how messy or dusty your studio might be, this might just get a lot of gunk on it. I mean, not really gunk, it's just kind of dust and debris and dirt from just kind of sitting here for 4 or 5 months. I mean, you know, I go through and I use the Swiffer on the studio, but it doesn't seem like, you know, it's gonna get up any of that. So unfortunately, that's really the only drawback I see to this particular unit. I feel like it's pretty stable. It has the on-off functionality, which, you know, may free up some of the force and the reverberation in your hand here, and it's 50% less, and we all like 50% less in voting with our hobby dollars. So in my book, bigger is definitely better than the Lab Genius. And Lab Genius, this feels like you could literally throw it at somebody and kill them, like no joke. This is heavy. Here, let's do it. Let's do a drop test. It's way lighter, but it doesn't have that what is it, insulation, or I guess padding that this one has right here, because that one just relies on that, whereas this uses the suction cup. So overall, I think it's still, at the end of the day, you know, up to voting with your hobby dollars. Do you want the bigger, bougier, more luxury kind of style unit that might put more stress and wear and tear on your hands? Or do you want the one that's 50% less, might look a little messier perhaps, and free up, you know, your hands and maybe potential, you know, health motion issues down the road? Or just don't use it and just shake it up too. But I feel like that might not be good on your hands either. So either way, it's up to us to decide where our comfort level is when it comes to paint shakers versus shaking up this stuff on our own. So that is it for this one. Thank you for hanging in there and listening to me rant about more cool hobby products, aka stupid shit that we probably none of us need, but we like buying stuff that helps our hobby. And at the end of the day, sometimes that's you know, it's all about having fun and staying engaged. So that's it for this one. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can be the very first to like and comment on all our videos. If you liked that video feature, consider supporting us over at patreon.com and get back in the mail each month a miniature crate full of some of the stuff we review here, as well as some of the top 3D artist designs out there too, to help support what they're doing. Plus discount coupon codes from some of those same manufacturers. They're yours to keep, whether you cancel or stay on. It's totally up to you. Obviously, we want to keep you as happy as possible. So check it out over at patreon.com/spikybits.